Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Joffy Noodle Legs here today with another treble Noodle film review. Today we're going to be looking at the final trilogy of Halloween. Obviously it's Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. So, I've been waiting to do this a while. A lot of people have mixed views of the trilogy, especially the last one. So let's put Noodle's view over, shall we? So this, first of all, we're going to start off with 2018. Now, this is kind of like, this series of movies kind of takes over from Halloween 2, really. After the first and second one, the original films, this is where this one's kind of take off. So it cuts out all the others, 4, 5, 6, etc. And this is sort of like tries to follow on from that, which was a bit strange considering, you know, there's already been other films since. But there we are. So let's get to the synopsis of the first one. The first one is kind of like it's based quite a time after the original like one, to be honest. And we join trying to find the right words, really. Jamie Lee Curtis has sort of grown on and had families of her own. Apparently she's had 2 divorces, and she's had like a daughter, and she's got a grandchild who's sort of grown up as well. So it kind of like, it's really sort of like moved on from like the original story. It's like without any sort of like story in between. I think it's because I believe in this sort of scenario, Michael's been captured and sent back to the hospital. So we kind of join the film when there's two sort of reporters going to kind of like to see to visit Laurie at her house.
Journalists don't pay for their interviews.
Smile. They're on camera.
So that they've arrived at her house to try and get some sort of story out of her about, you know, because they were trying to get like a podcast or whatever together. So NAF is a podcast about Michael Myers. Anyway, they sort of encourage her by offering her some money, and they head up to the house, which is very, very secured.
Hello.
May we come in? Sit down and talk.
So, Aaron and I have made several award-winning public radio exposés. Our last project shed new light on a murder case from 20 years ago. We like to re-examine incidents with an unbiased lens.
So they have quite a bit of jibber-jabber going on between them about sort of like what's sort of going on. And obviously Jamie Lee still refers to him as the boogeyman, and the guy reporter doesn't sort of believe in the boogeyman.
I read you quoted.
You don't believe in the boogeyman?
I believe in Michael Myers, a deranged serial killer, but the boogeyman.
Anyway, she sort of sends them on their way, sort of like, you know, what for, really. But like, he tells her that they met Michael and they've spoken to him, because at the beginning of the film they kind of meet Michael in the sort of hospital sort of like yard area.
Michael, I've got some people who'd like to meet you.
Hello, Michael. My name is Aaron Corey. I've been following your case for years and still know very little about you. I'd like to know more. About that night. About those involved. Do you ever think about them, Michael? Feel guilt about their fate?
I mean, he does try to communicate with Michael, but Michael has nothing, doesn't want nothing to do with him, even when he provides and shows him the mask.
You feel it, don't you, Michael? You feel the mask.
Anyway, so like I said, this one is kind of set in the future of, like, well, not in the future, but quite a way forward from the original. And like I said, she's had a daughter and she's grown up, she's had a grandchild, so we kind of have a little like a meet of the family.
Cameron?
That whole family, though, and a reputation.
Ray.
It's true. It's a relevant factor.
Ray.
Do you remember the one time Lonnie punched that cop in the face?
Ray.
That was it. Oh, mother! Oh, man. I got peanut butter on my penis.
Ew, Dad. Instant karma. Cameron is a good guy. He's nothing like that. You're gonna see when you meet him tonight.
They're all nice.
So we get quite a lot of going on about the story because it's more of a family drama, this one, and it really goes into the story of the relationship between Laurie and her daughter, and the daughter's sort of like very she can't forgive her mum for her childhood, pretty much, because her mum taught her how to defend herself, to use guns, because she always believed that Michael was going to come back one day, so she wanted to protect her and stuff like that. So we get quite a lot of like stuff like that, and a disagreement between the granddaughter and the mother, because the granddaughter really loves the grandmother. Anyway, all that sort of goes on, and we introduced to the granddaughter's sort of boyfriend, who turns out to be a bit of a loser, in this one anyway. Anyway, then he then they're transferring Michael to a different hospital. Of course, that's a big mistake, because Michael then escapes from the bus escorting all the patients, and he's back on the rampage in Haddonfield. And what Laurie said was true. Her daughter never believed her. She said, you know, it's never going to happen. He's never going to get out or anything like that. But he has. So it all sort of kicks off, and the sort of finale round sort of like Laurie's house. And they set up a trap for Michael, and hopefully try and finish him off. So do they? You need to watch it and find out. So that's a little look and little synopsis of Halloween 2018. What do I think of the film? I think the film's awesome. It's a great film. It's a great sort of like input to the franchise. A little bit more gory and a lot more brutal than the others. But it is a good sort of like input to the franchise. I try and look at these three completely separate from the original sort of franchise, apart from the original one, just because it takes a different direction to all the others. So you've got to do that, keep an open mind and go in with no expectation. And I really, really enjoyed it. The pluses of the film, it looks stunning. They've really, really done well. And I love the mask. It's so cool. And the guy that plays the Shape is absolutely brilliant. And Jamie Lee Curtis is so cool in this film. Really, really cool. So the pluses of the film is Jamie Lee Curtis. The story is really good. you do get that sort of Halloween feel. The music's awesome. It's fantastic. The minus, I do find it a little bit too brutal. I like my Halloweens a little bit not so brutal because none of the others really are. But there we go. Because it's a different direction, you've got to expect that. But that's cool. So I'm going to score this a awesome watch and score it 8 out of 10. Fantastic film. Really, really cool. So let's move on to Kills. Now this one gets a lot of sort of like mixed feelings about it. Again, it follows on straight on the same night as this one. So obviously at the end of that one, they set the trap for Michael in the house and there's a big fire. This carries on from that film. So it sort of kicks off with that Laurie and that sort of getting away from the fire, and there's a big sort of fire. They set the house on fire, trying to kill Michael. But does it work? So they're going away from the fire, and you see the fire brigade going towards the place. The granddaughter's boyfriend is sort of like walking the streets after that, sort of like falling out with her at a party, and he comes across a dead body of one of his friends, and Frank, the policeman's been injured.
Find her and fix it somehow. So if you know where she is, or if you guys are together, let me know. All right. Be safe. Bye. David! Dude, you okay? Hey, you okay? Hey man, I'm coming. I'm coming.
While this is all going on, this big fire and the guy discovering Frank, there's like at a bar, there's a couple just having a drink, a doctor and a nurse, and there's quite a few people there, and they've got like, I think it's like a sort of like a almost like a karaoke sort of night. Anyway, one of the guys gets up there to do a little talk, and it's Tommy.
Everybody. Lonnie put me up to this shit. I'm not gonna whistle for you. I'm gonna tell you a story. Any of you know the story of the Haddonfield Boogeyman? Too young to give a shit, too drunk to remember? 40 years ago, a madman escaped from a mental hospital. It was the night before Halloween, and 3 teenage girls were walking home from Haddonfield High. They had sightings of a ghost-like figure creeping right through our town. A man in a white mask.
Now, if you don't know who Tommy is, Tommy in the original film, 1978, is the young boy that Laurie Strode is babysitting. So he's all grown up now. Obviously, he survived the night, and he's telling the story of the boogeyman.
A stalker who had a power beyond any mortal man. My name is Tommy Doyle. And I was that young boy. So please, join me in commemorating the victims and the survivors of Michael Myers.
So meanwhile, back at Laurie's house, the fire's still going strong, and the fire brigade are trying to put it out, and they find someone in there who they're trying to rescue.
Take my hand here! Take my hand! Take my hand now! Take my hand!
So Laurie's now, she's taken back to the Haddon Hospital, because obviously in Halloween 2 she was there, because obviously she's had been in a fight in the earlier film with Michael, and she's got wounds. So she's there now in the hospital for an operation. So they were all taking her to the hospital. Meanwhile, back at the bar, it comes over on the news about what's been going on at that house, and about other convicts going missing from this bus.
Station earlier today. This evening, 4 bodies were discovered in 3 homes along the same residential street. Residents of North Haddonfield are on high alert. Officials are investigating. Less than an hour ago, Haddonfield authorities possibly identified several victims in this south of Bastic neighborhood.
That reporter is right outside Mr. Dubob's house.
It's right next door to our house.
2 patients of the local Smiths Grove State Hospital unaccounted for after yesterday's transport bus escape. Authorities have not confirmed a connection between those 2 events, but police are encouraging all residents to remain inside until further information is released.
So Tommy believes it to be Michael. He's straight away onto that, and then he gets to town up as a big posse on the hunt for Michael Myers. So they all go out hunting Michael Myers and make loads of mistakes on the way. Like one of the escaped mental patients that's also escaped is sort of like they're chasing down. He ends up falling from the hospital building, dying, and they realise it's the wrong guy. Meanwhile, Michael's out there killing quite a few people around the town. There's quite a few killings. Another brutal film, this one. He manages to kill off a whole fire brigade and pretty much nearly half the town throughout the film. So it's quite a brutal film. So he's got a posse together out on the outlook for him, and they use the daughter, and that goes back to the Laurie's daughter goes back to Michael's house to sort of entice him out, because he's already attacked the granddaughter and her boyfriend. Anyway, he entices her out to the street where he's met by the posse.
Everyone's entitled to one good scare.
And the posse give him a real big beating, and they shoot him and stuff. So they're killing Michael Myers, or do they? You need to watch it and find out. Again, another really gory, really disturbing film. To be honest, it's really gory, and it takes it to another level, and it's a different a different direction for the film, because now the town are on the hunt for Michael rather than hiding in the houses. They're all out on the hunt for him. So it's kind of a different takes a different twist and tale. And what do I think of the film? I love it. I think it's a brilliant film. Really cool. I think the character's really cool. I think the guy that plays Tommy is really good. And he's good, because you're thinking, what a prat. What it's like he's just so visioned and raged that everything's Michael to him. And it's just like you can see it in his face and the way he's behaving. But that's really cool. And I like the sort of the way the granddaughter and her boyfriend are out when looking for them, and it's like search parties going for him, and there's other members from the old films still like looking for him, and there's lots of killings going on. It's just such a good film. It's really cool. I don't want to tell you too much of the plot because I don't want to spoil it. And it's just such a good film. I really enjoyed it. So the positive of the film, again, it looks amazing. It's well acted again. Jamie Lee Curtis is fantastic. That's a bit of a negative though, because she's not in it enough. But there we go. I think she could. I'd like to have seen her more in it. Her and Frank, because I like them two characters. They're really cool. But yeah, really great film. Really cool. And negatives again, extremely gory. Not like the others, but again, I do like the direction that the film took in this one. I thought it gives it a different perspective. So if you, that's what I like about this franchise. You can go and watch all the others, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and get that sort of perspective, or follow this direction and get this perspective. And I quite like that. So that's really cool. So I'm going to score this now. I'm going to score this an amazing watch and give it a 9 out of 10. Absolutely, really love this one. Really cool. Halloween Kills. So now we're getting on to the final one, and it's Halloween Ends. This came out in the cinema last year. It came out this week on Blu-ray and DVD. So here we go. A lot of people give this quite a bit of negative reviews. So how do I feel about it? So the story sort of takes off 4 years after this, after Kills. And Laurie's a little bit come to terms with it, because Michael seems to have disappeared, and she's sort of come to terms with what's been going on. So it is set sort of 4 years after. But we start the film by being introduced to a young lad called Corey.
Hi. How have you been? Come on in.
Roger! Corey's here! Sorry this is last minute, but Andrea got a stomach bug and literally just called me. It's Roger's company Halloween party and I could care less, but... Roger!
Hope he's better at childcare than he is at yard work. You know, next spring you should consider some perennials. Hydrangeas would really balance out that
Ready
top.
for college? Where'd you say you're going?
Oh, I'm applying to a few different engineering programs. Just saving money this year so I can go next
Jeremy,
fall.
the sinner's here!
So, yeah, this isn't based in the 1920s, the way that woman's dressed. I think they should go out for a party. And he's there to babysit, which is kind of strange. You don't really get much of that, do you? Really sort of lad babysitters. Anyway, she has a little word with him.
Here comes the Thunder Bomber!
I'm gonna put the candy on the porch. Trick-or-treat kids can help themselves.
Help yourself to anything in the fridge.
She makes zucchini bread. It's actually good.
You have my number.
Okay.
If there's an emergency, but we'll just be right down the street. There is one thing I need to tell you. Since last Halloween, all the events and, the headlines of Michael Myers, Jeremy's been afraid of the dark. He's been wetting the bed at night. And, time has been difficult.
I could read him a story or something. Does he have a favorite book?
And once he goes to bed, he talks in his sleep. Says he hears voices. He's just really sensitive to things that give him bad dreams.
Right, all that just sounds like normal kid imagination stuff, right?
So he's looking after this lad, and this lad's he's a little bit of a cocky little, to be honest. And the little lad's watching John Carpenter's The Thing on TV, which is quite cool because in the original 78, they're watching the original version of The Thing, which is quite cool. I did like that little touch. But they're the boy keeps talking about Michael Myers and that to him, and anyway, so he sort of like just tells him like, oh, go to bed sort of thing. Anyway, and he goes to the kitchen to get something to eat from the fridge.
Jeremy, turn that movie off. Jeremy?
So while he's doing that, he hears a noise where the lad is, and he goes back to see where the lad, and the lad's disappeared. So he starts looking for him everywhere.
isn't funny, Jeremy.
Anyway, this little lad's trying to play pranks on him, and he goes upstairs into like this room, and Corey does, and he gets locked in. The lad locks him in, and then he's got, I don't know, he's got some sort of fear of being locked in, but he gets a bit psycho actually. He starts kicking the door, and he ends up, and the mum and dad come home, and he kicks the door open, and the young lad is right by the door, falls over, and he falls right down from the top floor. It's like a 3 or 4 story flight house, and he falls right down and gets killed. But it turns out that Corey is sort of like let off a kind of like a sort of not sort of kind of like a manslaughter charge, but he didn't have to go to jail or nothing because they knew it was just an accident. You know, also they didn't know he was locked in the room or whatever. Actually, it was the young lad's fault. But anyway, he sort of gets away with that. Then we join Jamie Lee, Laurie, and the granddaughter who are still in the film.
Hey. It has been 4 years since I last saw my monster. So here I am, a survivor attempting to share my story and find healing. Michael Myers was the personification of evil.
It's theirs. It's their wedding rings.
It's up to each of us whether or not we lock the door and find our resolve or let him inside.
So we get quite a bit of jibber jabber between the two, and they've got a really strong relationship. And Laurie seems really more sort of like normal now, not so crazy anymore, which is quite nice to see.
Are you?
I gotta go. I'm late for work.
Do you have your costume for the party?
I told you, I don't want to go alone. So I'm not going.
Oh.
WURG 94.9.
We then cut to like a sort of garage sort of dump where Corey works with his dad. I think it's his dad anyway. So we cut to that and see him at work.
But trust me, y'all, he'll be back. The kid and I'll be cranking it real on 94.9 WURG.
Corey, got a second? What do you think?
Yeah?
Get it registered, get some new plates. I got no use for it no more.
Are you serious?
With a good engine pushing you, finally make it to work on time, you know what I mean?
Does it work?
Yeah, it works, just kind of shitty.
Hey, Ronald? Thanks.
No problem, kid.
So the movie moves on. It's quite slow at the beginning. There's a lot of sort of going on with the granddaughter, sort of like, and there's one of the police officers that fancies her, and all this kind of thing goes on. And then we cut to like a garage a bit later in the film where Corey's there getting a drink, and he gets sort of bullied by 4 sort of other youths.
Wait, I know who you are.
You did something messy.
I can't believe they let you off.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You're that psycho babysitter. He killed that kid, didn't he?
Yep.
Killed a kid and too pussy to buy some fucking
Guys, you know what?
beers.
Let's just fucking forget about it. Let's go to the game, okay?
You're just a little pedo.
Look at him.
Let him know,
His face
Terry.
turned
Now what you
bright
want?
red.
A little fucking pedo creep.
That's
Give me
right.
space, Terry. Fucked up kid are you, right?
Right.
So where's your next victim?
What the fuck? Oh, shit. Ha!
Look at me. Fucking look at me.
Holy shit!
Look what you did.
Hey! Assholes! Knock it off!
We're not doing anything. We're just talking,
messing
miss.
around.
Ma'am.
Hey, guys, would you look at this? I mean, a psycho meets a freak show. Wow. This is a match made in heaven.
Hey, come on, look at
Hot time for now.
Let's go, y'all.
Michael Myers.
So Jamie Lee comes to the rescue, and she sort of like helps him out, and they hit off okay at first, and then she takes him to the hospital where his granddaughter works for Corey to be bandaged up.
don't have to fix it right now.
I don't have my stuff, but I am at the shop tomorrow. I can fix it there.
Why can't the bicycle stand on its own?
No, it can't. It's got a kickstand.
Because it was too tired.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually getting rid of the bike, so if you want it, you can have it. I got a motorcycle.
Oh, a motorcycle. Teach me to ride it?
Yeah?
You have shit on your back.
And she's already taken a shine to him straight away. Just, I don't know what, but she's taken a shine to him, and she's sort of like quite forward with him, trying to sort of like get him to go out. Anyway, in the end, they sort of go out and they sort of start forming a relationship. And Corey's dad gives him a motorbike. His dad's quite nice, actually. His mum's a fucking weirdo, but his dad's quite nice. He gives him a motorbike. Anyway, he sort of promises the granddaughter to teach him to ride the bike.
Right hand gas, left hand is your front. Sorry. Right hand is gas. Also your front brake, and then left hand is your clutch. Right foot is your back brake, and left foot is the shifter thingy. Simple.
Doesn't sound simple.
Yo, Corey! Yo, give us a hand.
Hey, Roger.
Hey, Terry.
I'm sorry about it. This shit. My goddamn son drove 3 miles on a fucking flat because he doesn't know how to change a tire on a goddamn automobile. Fucking genius.
Then we cut to a bit later in the supermarket, and Frank turns up, the police officer, and he bumps into Laurie, and they have a good old chat, and there's a little bit of a spark between them, I think.
I got myself a guitar at the pawn shop, and I've been fiddling around with that. My niece gave me a Rosetta Stone, and now I'm learning Japanese. Shatsu o Nakushita.
What does that mean?
Means I lost my shirt, I think. Or I lost my hat. I don't know.
So this is all going along really, really nicely. It's like a nice little film, apart from obviously Corey being bullied quite a bit, which is a bit harsh. Anyway, they go out to like this fancy dress party, Corey and the young and the granddaughter, and the mother of the young boy that was killed, that he was babysitting in the film, is there. And there's a big argument, so Corey leaves, and then Corey walks off, and granddaughter chases after him, said, "Leave me alone," sort of thing. He goes off, and he comes up to this bridge, and the bullies turn up, and they start picking on him, and then they end up having a fight and a tussle, and they push him off the bridge, and he lands on the ground, and then he gets pulled away into like a drain pipe, and disappears. And I'm thinking, well, what's going on there? Is it some creature or whatever? I don't know. But it's like a tramp living down there as well. But anyway, the story kind of moves on from that, and then Corey's changed from that. And this little bit here is we see Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie, still writing a bit of a book. She's writing a book about Michael and stuff. And she looks out the window.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I'm just waiting for Allison.
Corey? Everything okay?
I got jumped on the way home last night.
So yeah, that's quite freaky. It sort of really resembled Michael Myers, didn't it? It's like really cool. I really quite like that bit. Anyway, so what's this thing that's dragged him into the sewer? Where's Michael gone? You need to watch it and find out, because that's all I'm going to tell you about this one. Because I do not want to spoil anything on this one, because it does take a different turning, and It's amazing. I loved it. Again, I thought it was fantastic. That's what I think of the film. And a lot of people slagged it off, says it's ruined the franchise. It was amazing. I loved the way it turned the story around a lot. Yes, I think Michael's not in it enough. I don't think we really get to see Michael till like the really last sort of third act. But it's amazing film. What a build up! What a great build up to the film. So the plus is the film. It looks amazing. It's cool. The cast are fantastic. The young lad that plays Corey was brilliant. Really convincing character, because you think, oh, is he bad guy or is he a good guy? You like that way through the film. It's really cool, and it's great. They still got some of the old cast in it, like Frank and that, which I really loved. Yeah, and I liked it because it was not as brutal as the other two. It's still got some brutal stuff in it, but there's so many twists and turns in it, which I really liked. The negative of the film, I can see why people were a little bit disappointed, because one, Michael's not in it too much, and it's like, after all these years, that's the ending. That's, but is it? This is just another output. These three films are just another output, aren't they, to the franchise? You know, it's like, and it's someone else's view of it. And I thought it was really well done, and I loved that. So I'm going to score this now as an awesome watch and give that a 9 out of 10. So we got a 9 out of 10. We've got a 9 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10. So I'm going to score the whole series of those three films a 9 out of 10. They're fantastic. Have you guys seen them? If you have, let me know what you thought of them down below. And be nice, don't be horrible, but be nice. You know, let's not get. Let's have a little chat about it. Let's not think, oh, you're so wrong. Well, it doesn't matter. It's just my opinion. I went into the films with zero expectation, and I came out thinking, yeah, I loved all three of those. Fantastic. And as Michael gone, have we seen the last of Michael Myers? We don't know, do we? I hope not. I hope another company picks it up and takes it a different direction. It's fantastic. Brilliant films. Excellent. Guys, till the next video, check out some more horror channels for me. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzlewell, I'm Ice Lord, Sarah of Horror. Fantastic channels. And a special shout out to my lad Lemon Lord. Hope you're doing well, mate. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.